coming. This is the last of this year's Fowles series. Next year, we're going to be doing some things with Russian and Ukrainian writers, so I look forward to seeing you all here then. And so tonight, I turn this over now to Rabbi Nakell, who will be giving a blessing and then introducing tonight's guest, Chucky Fishman. So, Rabbi, it's all you. Don't use the accent.
Which accent you talking?
Whatever.
I first met Chuck Fishman last time.
He won't stop laughing. This is the problem. See? He can't do it. He can't do it. He can't do it.
Great video. Great video.
Was there a wax there? Okay, well, thanks for that great introduction.
I first met Chuck Fishman last summer. He was leaning up against the wall in a kind of an upscale alley in front of the Jewish Historical Institute in Warsaw, where I was doing research on a novel in progress. My wife, Rebecca, who had just come from doing similar research in France, and I had been told to meet someone in a cafe in that alleyway, but we couldn't spot the cafe. We did see Mr. Fishman leaning against the wall. We could be in New York. Chuck looked like what he is, a distinguished but casual New York intellectual artist. We already might as well have known him. So I picked him to ask, do you know a cafe around here? He pointed us to the cafe. That evening we discovered that not only was he our guide to the cafe, not only was he indeed distinguished, not only was he indeed an intellectual artist, he was a casual, approachable, a mensch, and he was in Warsaw on a mission similar to my own. That evening at the Jewish Historical Institute, we attended the opening of his photo show of the revival of the Jewish community in Poland. Chuck was photographing the vibrancy of the Jewish community, a world of theater, literature, social justice, art, community, of life, not of destruction. I was doing research for a novel whose time frame includes the Holocaust, but which would celebrate that Jewish and Polish culture that preceded and succeeds the Holocaust in Poland, America, and Israel. I was drawn to ask specifically Chuck Fishman for directions, not just for his familiar demeanor leaning against that wall, but perhaps because we were both at work defying the destructive powers in the world, giving presence to the creative. A project for anyone at any time, and a project whose spirit we need now as ever, as the insane destructive powers in humankind threaten us everywhere again, in Poland, in America, everywhere. Look at the photographs in all of Chuck Fishman's career. Time, Life, Fortune, New York Magazine covers. Photographs of so many of the great jazz players in the act of their creative genius. Iconic photographs of both Pope Francis and Pope John Paul II, Fidel Castro, Muhammad Ali, Jackie Kennedy, Isaac Bashevis the singer, Anwar Sadat, Menachem Begin, Eugene Smith, Jesse Jackson, Herbie Hancock, Chick Corea, and more, and more, and more. His gift is to find people in moments where they reveal themselves at the same time as their cultural and history, and environment are revealed. To present those images with an aesthetic appropriate to each image, discovered, I suspect, only in the act of printing them. The oeuvre at hand tonight, belonging to the major theme of Professor Axelrod's John Fowles lecture series, whom I want to thank for all this. Writers, scholars, and artists who today are not survivors per se, but who refuse to accept that destructive force in sorrow, resignation, or defeat, but who, with exuberance, create. Theodore Adorno admonished us that to write poetry after the Holocaust was barbaric. He was right, and he was massively wrong. We will not look back and be silent, lest the destructive shadow of human energy raised by the Nazis, neither for the first nor for the last time, win out. The Nazis could not destroy the Jews, and they could not destroy Jewish culture, and they utterly failed to destroy the creativity of Jewish and human art. While there was a great deal of Jewish resistance, we all know thousands of images of insufferable, disgusting degradation. From the famous Warsaw Ghetto photograph, photographer unknown, the young Jewish boy with hands raised in surrender, SS Glockenkiel, Josef Bosch machine gun pointed at the child, to images of emaciated survivors in the camps looking out at us from the years of horrors of final solution. Chuck Fishman, with an intuitive eye and an artistic genius, is adding to that cultural memory photography of men, women, children, vindicating us all with the resurgence of our daily, pleasurable, ordinary, amazing, and complex lives. When we engage with Chuck Fishman's photographs, we see that truth that, quote, all portraits are self-portraits, and that all audiences share in the creation. Mr. Fishman.
Oh, that was a hell of an introduction. Thank you very much, Martin. Thank you very much, Mark. Thank you all for coming. I just want to start with some facts, just some basic, everyday historical facts. In 1939, Jewish population of Poland, and Poland borders of Poland changed as years and decades go by, but basic Poland, 3.5 million Jews lived there during 1939. Several years later, 1945, there were 90% of them were dead, exterminated, killed, died of diseases, all brought on by Nazi Germany, not all brought on, but primarily Nazi Germany, and what's called the Shoah or the Holocaust. Of those 350,000, the majority of those 350,000 actually were able to live because they escaped east. Only about 50,000 people actually survived the concentration camps. The extermination camps were just that, extermination camps. People went there, they were exterminated. The concentration camps, some people were exterminated immediately, others actually worked until they were then exterminated or they dropped dead. 50,000 survived the camps, a couple of 100,000 went east when Germany invaded Poland from the west. A few days later, Russia came in from the east. A lot of Jews just went to what was considered Eastern Poland, where then Comrade Stalin, without their blessings, basically took them in cattle cars and took them deep into Russia, to Siberia and other deep Russian areas where they set up work camps. And they helped the economy. died, but they were not concentration camps, they were not extermination camps. And that actually saved many, many, many lives. Slowly, many of those people drifted south to Uzbekistan, just various, Iran, various southern ports. At the end of the war, many people wanted to get back to their home in Poland. Some were killed at the border. This was just basic anti-Semitism. Some were killed at the border, some got to their hometowns and wanted to get their old house back, and some were either killed then or they immediately ran away because they were seeing that they were not welcome in their home anymore, and they might have been the only ones in their family that were even left.